Project Hail Mary ending explained, full movie breakdown and book differences. Project Hail Mary has undoubtedly been one of the most anticipated sci-fi releases of the year. In a stacked 2026 cinematic lineup, right alongside heavy hitters like Dune Messiah and The Odyssey, Andy Weir's masterpiece finally hitting the big screen felt like a monumental event. Having fallen in love with the original novel, my expectations for this adaptation were sky-high. Now that it's officially out, we have a lot to talk about. Did it pull off an amaze victory, or did it fumble the hard science? Throughout this deep dive, I'm going to break down the entire film, explain the ending, and explore the biggest differences between the movie and the original book. Whether you're a die-hard fan of the novel or a newcomer to the Hail Mary mission, let's get into the science, the survival, and the best interstellar friendship in modern sci-fi. The premise: waking up alone in the cosmos. If you look at the cover of the Project Hail Mary novel, there's a prominent sticker reminding you that Andy Weir is the author of The Martian. That previous adaptation set a massive precedent. Weir's signature style involves wrapping highly complex, hard science, mathematical equations, physics, and molecular biology in a thick layer of humor and humanity. The movie faithfully adopts the book's exact narrative framework, jumping back and forth between the present-day crisis in space and flashbacks to Earth. We're introduced to a school teacher who wakes up aboard a spaceship in deep space. He has severe amnesia, his crewmates are dead, and he is completely alone. The movie captures the book's opening sequences perfectly. A computer repeatedly asks him, "What is 2 plus 2?" to test his cognitive function. In the book, he actually tries to test the machine's true intelligence by asking for the square root of 2, only for the machine to mark him incorrect, making him realize the AI is quite basic. Slowly, his memories start returning. He remembers his name is Ryland Grace, he is on a vessel called the Hail Mary, and he is 11.9 light-years away from home. Oh, and if he fails his mission, all of humanity faces extinction. No pressure. What is the astrophage? The core threat in Project Hail Mary is an alien parasite known as the astrophage. While the movie has to condense some of the heavy exposition for the sake of pacing, the book goes into fascinating detail about how these creatures operate. The astrophage are microscopic beings that travel from star to star, feasting on stellar energy. They infect a star, consume what they need, and multiply, eventually spreading out to nearby celestial bodies like a cosmic cancer. They don't consume the star entirely, but they do dim its output by about 10%. 10% might not sound like much, but Earth exists in a highly specific, fragile habitable zone. A 10% drop in solar luminance would trigger a new ice age, plummeting global temperatures by 10 to 15 degrees. Humanity is given a grim ticking clock, roughly 30 years before complete ecological collapse, resource wars, and mass extinction. However, there is a glimmer of hope. Scientists notice that one nearby star, Tau Ceti, has miraculously resisted the astrophage infection. The reluctant hero, Eva Stratt, and Ryland's recruitment. To solve the crisis, the governments of the world grant absolute, unchecked authority to a woman named Eva Stratt. Her job is to lead a global task force to figure out why Tau Ceti is immune. In the book, Stratt is an absolute force of nature. At one point, she is literally dragged before the world's courts, but she casually reminds them that she has total immunity from prosecution and can do whatever she wants. The movie softens her character just a bit to make her more accessible. The karaoke scene, for instance, is a brand new addition specifically for the film, and it works well to humanize her. Stratt recruits Ryland Grace, a former highly renowned molecular biologist turned middle school teacher. Humanity manages to secure an astrophage sample from a line of parasites formed between the Sun and Venus, and Grace slowly cracks the code of their biology, becoming Earth's foremost expert on the organism. A major book versus movie difference: the launch. As Ryland's memories return, we learn how he actually ended up on the Hail Mary. The initial crew was meant to be different, but an accidental astrophage explosion kills the primary astronauts. Grace is the only person left with the necessary knowledge to complete the mission. Here is where the mediums differ significantly. In the movie, Stratt presents the dire situation to Grace and the remaining staff, giving him 3 hours to make a heroic choice to board the ship. In the book, Strat is far more ruthless. Grace actively refuses to go on what is effectively a suicide mission. Knowing humanity's survival is at stake, Strat simply has him drugged and loaded onto the ship against his will. I wondered if the movie would skip this dark twist, and while they edited it to feel a bit more like a conscious choice initially, the underlying reality of his forced deployment remains a powerful narrative punch. Enter Rocky, the heart of the story. Not long after waking up and realizing his grim situation, Grace encounters another alien vessel. This ship is piloted by an Iridian, who Grace nicknames Rocky. Just like Grace, Rocky is the sole survivor of a mission sent to save his own dying planet from the astrophage. His crew died from radiation poisoning, a concept the Iridians, who live in a pitch-black atmosphere, simply weren't aware of. The dynamic between Grace and Rocky is the absolute heart of the story. Ultimately, Project Hail Mary is about finding kinship with someone entirely different from you. The movie adds a bit of early friction and growing pains between the two to create cinematic conflict. Rocky even calls the way humans eat gross for a laugh. The book, the two are pretty much instant best friends. The novel also treats Iridian eating habits as a deeply personal, almost shameful act where Rocky warns Grace not to look. The biological world building here is staggering. Iridians are completely blind. They see using a highly advanced form of echolocation, perceiving their surroundings in 3D through sound absorption. The movie visualized this brilliantly, showing us echolocation inside the ship. Together, these two scientists discover the secret to fighting the astrophage on a planet in the Tau Ceti system. They find a natural predator to the parasite, which they name Tomiba. They capture it, breed it, and finally, they have a cure for both Earth and Arid. The climax, a terrible realization. Rocky's ship has enough excess astrophage fuel to get Grace back to Earth. This is a massive emotional beat because the Hail Mary was built as a one-way trip. Grace thought he was going to die in space, but now he gets to go home. They share a tearful goodbye and they part ways. But out in the vacuum of space, Grace realizes something horrific. The Tomiba have begun escaping their containment chambers. The chambers are made of xenonite, a near-indestructible Iridian material. However, on an atomic level, xenonite is porous to something as adaptable as Tomiba. The book explains this brilliantly. Imagine throwing tennis balls into a thick forest. Eventually, some will bounce through the trees and make it to the other side. Because Rocky's entire ship is made of xenonite, Grace realizes that the Tomiba will inevitably escape, eat all of Rocky's fuel, and leave him stranded to die in the dark. If Grace continues to Earth, humanity lives, but Rocky's entire species dies. The ending explained why Ryland stayed. Because Ryland Grace has grown from a self-centered, reluctant recruit into a true hero, he makes the ultimate sacrifice. He packages the cure into 4 small probes, named John, Paul, Ringo, and George, a brilliant Beatles reference that thankfully made it from the page to the screen, and fires them back toward Earth. He then turns his ship around to save his friend. He locates a stranded, doomed Rocky, who is absolutely overjoyed to see him. But returning with Rocky means going to Arid, a planet where the food is made of heavy metals that would kill a human instantly. Grace believes he will simply starve to death after his Earth rations run out, making this a true sacrifice. However, the Iridians treat Grace like a king. The movie leaves out a rather bizarre book detail. The Iridians actually clone parts of Ryland's own body so he can eat Ryland Grace burgers to survive, which I completely understand cutting from a mainstream movie. Instead, the film brings in a beautiful, atmospheric dome and beach environment where Grace can live out his days comfortably. Did Earth survive? In both versions, years pass. Due to the heavy gravity of Arid, Ryland is aging faster than normal. But he receives the greatest news possible. The Iridians observe Earth's sun through telescopes and note that its original luminance has returned. Ryland's probes made it. Earth is saved. In the novel, it's left slightly ambiguous whether Grace will ever take a repaired ship back to Earth. However, the movie makes a fantastic, definitive choice. Grace decides to stay. We end with him working as a science teacher for a classroom full of young, eager Iridians. Final thoughts. A modern sci-fi masterpiece. Project Hail Mary is a triumph. It takes a story about a desperate, lonely suicide mission and turns it into an uplifting testament to friendship, duty, and sacrifice. It shows how hope can push us to do things we never thought ourselves capable of. Visually, the film is stunning. The pacing is phenomenally tight. Even at 2.5 hours, it never drags, keeping you glued to the screen whether they are solving complex math problems or dodging space debris. The musical score perfectly dances around different genres, matching the tone flawlessly. This adaptation didn't just meet my expectations, it surpassed them. It perfectly captured the hard science of Andy Weir while elevating the emotional core that makes the story so special. What did you think of the Project Hail Mary movie? Did you prefer the book's slightly darker take on Eva Strat, or did you love the cinematic changes they made to Rocky and Grace's dynamic? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.